I know where you are right now. I can see it in the way you're holding your shoulders, and I can hear it in the silence of your prayers. You've reached that jagged edge where the why isn't loud enough to drown out the how much longer. You're standing there, looking at the wreckage of your expectations, wondering if the universe made a mistake or if you simply weren't built for this kind of weather. But listen, before you lay that burden down, before you decide that the story ends on this cold, dark page, I really need you to hear me out. The heaviness you're feeling right now? It's not the weight of defeat. It's the weight of the glory you aren't yet strong enough to carry. And I know that sounds intense, but stay with me here. You know what we do? We judge the sunset while we're still standing in the heat of the noonday sun. We want to quit because we're tired, but honestly, tiredness is just the price of admission for a life that matters. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And look, the very fact that you are still breathing, still standing here with the taste of salt on your lips and the ache in your bones, is proof that the enemy of your soul hasn't won yet. Your track record for making it through the impossible? It's a perfect 100%. So don't you dare let a temporary season of exhaustion trick you into making a permanent exit from a destiny that has your name written all over it. Just give me 5 more minutes. Because the version of you that wins is currently being forged in the version of you that wants to quit. When we talk about this desire to quit, we mess up and label it as weakness, right? We tell ourselves that if we were truly strong or chosen, we wouldn't feel this hollow ache in our chests. But I want you to see something different here, the fatigue of the faithful. This isn't the exhaustion of someone who's lazy. This is the profound weariness of the person who has been the anchor for everyone else for far too long. It's the exhaustion that comes from being the one who always shows up, the one who carries the vision when others have lost sight of it, the one who refuses to compromise even when the world seems to reward the shortcuts. You're not tired because you're doing it wrong. You're tired because you've been doing it right, in a world that makes doing it right very, very difficult. And honestly, the fatigue of the faithful is a unique kind of weight. It's like running a race where the finish line seems to move every time you get close. You know that feeling? It happens when your spirit is willing, but your humanness has hit a wall. See, faith doesn't make the journey easy, it makes it possible. And because it's possible, you keep pushing, keep giving, keep bleeding for the dream, until one day you wake up and realize you've been running on fumes for months. This is the moment where that internal voice starts to whisper that maybe you've done enough, or worse, that your effort hasn't made a difference. But listen to me, the intensity of your fatigue is often the most accurate measurement of the ground you have gained. You don't get this tired by standing still. You don't feel this kind of drain unless you have poured out something substantial. We have to stop beating ourselves up for needing rest. Look, in the silence of your exhaustion, there's this lesson that strength isn't just about the ability to move forward. It's about the ability to remain steadfast when everything is pulling you backward. Your weariness? It's actually a badge of honor. It's the physical and emotional evidence that you have stayed in the fight. It's the grit in the gears of a soul that has refused to quit. When you reach this point of soul tired, it isn't a signal to abandon the mission. It's a signal to deepen your source. You're being stripped of your self-sufficiency so that you can be clothed in a resilience that doesn't depend on your mood or your energy levels. The fatigue isn't the end of your faith. It's the beginning of a version of you that knows how to endure beyond the limit. Now, here's where it gets tricky. When you're operating from this place of deep depletion, your perception of distance becomes compromised. I call this the deception of the horizon. In the physical world, the horizon is a fixed line where the earth meets the sky, but in your mind, the horizon is a shifting target that your exhaustion uses to manipulate you. When you're fresh, energized, full of hope, the goal looks attainable. It looks like it's just over the next hill. But when you're drained, when your heart is heavy and your mind is clouded, your brain performs this cruel calculation. It takes the pain you're feeling in this exact second and projects it across the entire remainder of the journey. It tells you that if it hurts this much now and you still have so far to go, then the math simply doesn't add up. You begin to believe that the finish line isn't just far away. You believe it's moving further away with every step you take. This deception is basically a survival mechanism gone wrong. Your mind is trying to protect you from further pain by convincing you that the effort is futile. It magnifies the obstacles and minimizes your progress. You look back at how far you've come, and instead of seeing a trail of victories, you see a trail of wasted time. You look forward, and instead of seeing a destination, you see an endless gray expanse. But you have to realize that you're looking through a distorted lens. Exhaustion is a liar. It doesn't show you reality, it shows you a version of reality filtered through your current limitations. It's like trying to judge the beauty of a landscape while looking through a window covered in grime. The truth is, you're often closest to the breakthrough when the horizon looks the most daunting. There's this specific kind of darkness that happens right before the dawn, and there's a specific kind of distance that feels insurmountable right before the arrival. If you trust your feelings in this state, you'll walk away from the very thing you've spent years building. You have to learn to ignore the visuals of your current situation. Stop measuring the distance with your emotions and start measuring it with your character. Just because you can't see the end doesn't mean the end isn't there. The horizon is an invitation to keep walking, even when your eyes are telling you there's no point. It's a test of whether you believe more in what you feel or in what you know to be true. You know what? We've been conditioned to fear the breaking point. We treat it as the ultimate failure, the moment where the structure of our lives finally gives way under the pressure and we're left exposed. But I want to suggest to you that the breaking point is not a tragedy. It's a transition. It's actually a gift. There's a version of you that was necessary to get you to this moment, but that version is not capable of carrying you to the next one. The you that you've been, the one that relies on people-pleasing, the one that relies on sheer willpower, the one that tries to control every outcome, that version has reached its maximum capacity. It cannot go any further. So the breaking isn't the end of you. It's the shattering of the shell that has become too small for the spirit growing inside of it. Think about the way a seed works for a second. For a seed to fulfill its destiny and become a tree, it has to reach a point where its outer casing literally cracks open. From the perspective of the seed, this is a catastrophe. Its world is ending. It's being torn apart. But from the perspective of the forest, this is the only way for life to begin. The break is the entry point for the growth. When you reach your limit and you feel like you can't hold it together for one more second, you're finally in a position where you can be reconstructed into something more resilient. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to avoid the crack, trying to patch the holes and keep the old self intact. But when you finally break, you're released from the burden of pretending. You're forced to stop relying on the superficial and start reaching for the foundational. In that moment of total surrender, when you admit you have nothing left, you find out what has been holding you up all along. You discover that there's a strength beneath your strength. You discover that your worth is not tied to your performance. The gift of the breaking point is clarity. It strips away the distractions and the noise, leaving you with nothing but the essential truth of who you are. So don't despise the breakage. Don't be ashamed of the tears or the feeling of being overwhelmed. This is the moment where the old architecture of your life is being cleared away to make room for a cathedral. You're not falling apart, you're falling into a new shape. You're being dismantled so that you can be redesigned for a magnitude of impact that the old you couldn't even imagine. The breaking is the beginning. And here's something else you need to understand. When you're standing in the middle of a struggle and you feel like the walls are closing in, the most dangerous lie you can believe is that you're doing this alone. We live in a world that celebrates the self-made individual, but that's a myth. No one who has ever done anything significant did it by themselves. There's always a silent partner. Whether you call it grace, providence, the universe, or a higher power, there's a force at work in your life that is doing for you what you cannot do for yourself. This partner doesn't always make the path easier, but it makes the path possible. It's the invisible hand that keeps you from falling when you should have slipped. It's the unexpected phone call that comes just when you were about to give up. It's the sudden spark of an idea in the middle of a dark night. The silent partner operates in the background of your chaos. While you're busy counting your failures and cataloging your weaknesses, this force is busy arranging the pieces of your future. It's the strength you find at 3 a.m. when you thought you had nothing left. Your human capacity has a ceiling, but your partnership with the infinite, it has no limit. When you reach the end of your rope, you're not falling into an abyss. You're falling into the arms of a support system that has been there the entire time, waiting for you to stop trying to be the god of your own life. This partner doesn't need your perfection. It only needs your presence. It needs you to stay in the game long enough for the reinforcements to arrive. Most of us spend our lives trying to drown out the silence, but honestly, it's in the silence that the partner speaks loudest. It doesn't shout over your anxiety, it whispers underneath it. It invites you to lean back and trust that the seeds you've planted are being watered by a source you didn't create. When you realize you have a silent partner, the pressure to figure it all out begins to evaporate. You realize that you don't have to carry the whole world. You only have to carry your part, and the rest is being managed by a wisdom far greater than your own. Even when you can't see the evidence, even when the silence feels deafening, the partner is working, weaving your pain into a tapestry of purpose. You're being carried even when you think you're walking, and you're being guided even when you think you're lost. So I'm asking you one more time. Don't let the fatigue of the faithful trick you into thinking the race is over. Don't let the deception of the horizon convince you that the finish line is a mirage. Embrace the gift of your breaking point and lean into the strength of your silent partner. You're not done. You're just getting started. Take one more step, just 5 more minutes. You've got this.